Welcome back to my kitchen. I hope you're all doing well. It's Friday night, if any of us remember what day of the week it is. But I've been thinking about things, and somebody suggested pasta or just white clam sauce, and I love white clam sauce. This particular recipe is inspired by my dad. He used to call it white clam sauce a la Ralph. So this is inspired by him. He uses breadcrumbs in his clam sauce, and I found that very interesting, but it's very delicious, and we always could not wait for him to make it. So here's all you do. So we are going to turn on a pan over medium to high heat, and we're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Oh no, we're not adding the olive oil. What we're going to do is we are going to dissolve an anchovy. That is what my dad always did. He would dissolve actually 2 to 3. So I'm going to take 2, and I love anchovies, and I promise you, for those of you who say, I don't like anchovies, you do. There's some things that you don't even know you have anchovies in. When I make greens like kale, and I want to saute them, or any of the leafy greens like mustard greens or whatever, I'll dissolve an anchovy first, and at the end you get this flavor that you're not quite sure what it is, and you would never guess it was an anchovy even if you didn't like them, because you wouldn't even know it. Okay, so I have this anchovy in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just heating it up. There's no oil in the pan because the anchovy comes with oil. You know, it comes in oil. So right now, I'm just going to kind of let this cook for a minute until it literally dissolves. So while this is happening, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. While this is happening, I have to grab the garlic because I forgot it. Hold on. Now, if you remember, this is my frozen garlic. It's fantastic. I've already chopped a whole bunch of cloves. Okay, so this anchovy has disappeared. You can't see in this pan. It's gone. So what I'm going to do now is add some oil to the pan, and then I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. This is high quality extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to add a little bit of breadcrumbs. This is seasoned panko crumbs because it's already got that kind of Italian-y flavor. You can use plain if you'd like. And what we're going to do is just kind of cook this until it's a little bit of a golden brown. And while that's cooking, I'm going to chop up some onion. Now, I know you can't see what I'm doing over here, so I should have chopped it ahead of time, but I just want to show you real quick how I chop an onion. I take the end off, and you leave the little knob on here. I'm going to shut this off while I do this because I don't want that to burn. So you leave the little knob on the end, and then what I like to do is cut it in half, and that's when I'm going to peel it. It makes it so much easier to peel after you have taken the end off and after you have sliced it. So I'm going to peel the onion, and then I want the onion like in small pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across it and make a little slice like that, just a little slice, and then I'm going to do it again. This way I know I'm going to get little pieces. And then I'll go straight across in little teeny tiny sections. And if you notice, I still have the knob on the end, so I'm not fighting with this on top of my cutting board. And then if you see, boom, you get teeny tiny little minced pieces. Now, onion is not traditionally, I don't think, in white clam sauce, but my dad always put it in, and I love it. So I'm going to put this back on now that I've got my onion chopped. And I'm just going to stir it up a little bit. I hope you're all doing good. The weekend's here, but, I mean, do we really know what the weekend is now? But we have to make the best of it. And this is fun. It's fun, you know, cook at home, play card games, play board games, do whatever you need to do. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to add the onion. And we are going to add garlic. Where did I put it? Okay, and this is the chopped garlic. Actually, it was from 320. And look at this. It's already done. I don't have to worry about it. Boom. That's 3 cloves of garlic. Now I'm going to put this right back in the freezer. So once you take it out and use it, get it right back in there. Because you don't want it to all glop together. So I'm just going to cook that up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more oil, just a hit of oil. Turn it on low and let this cook up a little bit. Not too long because we're going to add some liquid to this as well. Oh my gosh, so yummy. Now we're going to add some olives. A little bit of olives with the pimento in them. So I'm just going to chop these up. These can be a little bit of a pain when you have little olives. Just keep holding it close together. And these don't have to be super tiny because it's kind of fun, but the brininess, and we have roasted pepper in here that's coming, and it just all works really well together. So we're going to add the olives, and I'm going to add a little tiny bit of the clam broth right now. And that's going to start to reduce and start cooking everything down. So we have the clam broth kind of cooking some of this down. Then I have roasted peppers. I just roasted these. These were just little of those sweet peppers you get in a bag. I just stick them on top of my stove. I turn my gas on, and I just lay them on top and keep turning them around while they char, and then they peel beautifully. These are literally just little baby peppers that I just did in 2 seconds. Chop them up. Now, you don't have to add these. I mean, this is just a really unique recipe, like I said, that my dad, Ralph Canito, always made. And Laura and Allison, my sisters, if you're out there, you know exactly. We know Daddy's not on here. So we're going to add the roasted peppers and then stir that up a little bit. And you can't see this, but it's actually starting to thicken up. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so we have all of that. And now what we're going to do is you're going to cook that for like 5 minutes, but I don't need to cook that now for 5 minutes because we don't have 5 minutes because I have other things to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the clams. So these are canned clams. So if you have them at home, it's great. It's such a great thing to use. Oh my gosh, it's so good. We're going to add the clams, and we're going to stir all of this up together. And this is thick right now, and there's not a lot of liquid in here because I just used a hit of that clam broth. This is the quickest, most delicious meal. Now, if you have a lemon, you can use a lemon. I use True Lemon, which you've seen me use before. It's literally crystallized lemon. You don't have to worry about. This is actually great when you're. This is something you definitely should have, because if you don't have fresh lemons, it's just like having fresh lemons. I'm going to add some oregano, really good quality oregano, and some black pepper, freshly grated black pepper that I grate and put in that container. A little bit of hot red pepper flakes. Always. You'll see that. I think that's in all my recipes. And then we're going to crank this bad boy up. And we are going to add the broth. And we're going to add some white wine. So, you know, we're going to add the white wine. We got, what do I say? A little for the pot. A little for me. I love white wine. It's good. This is a Pinot Gris from Oregon. It's really good. Is this from Oregon? I think so. Yep, an Oregon Pinot Gris. Then I'm going to take fresh parsley. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in the dish, in the pan, and then I'm going to top it off at the end with some fresh. Because once you put it in the pan, it starts to cook. And it gets, you know, it's different. You get a different flavor. It starts to absorb into the dish, but at the end, you want to finish it off with some fresh as well. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. We're going to use a little bit of salt. You don't need too much because you have some from the anchovies. And then we're going to stir this up. Oh, it looks so beautiful. I might have to bring that camera over at the end and just end it by you seeing it in the pan. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Now, we're going to add the rest of the clam broth. Make sure it's nice and high. Okay, we're going to add the rest of the clam broth. And we're going to reduce this by half. You can add some chicken broth if you'd like to. Just a hit, you don't have to. And then we're going to reduce this by half. Now, here is where, this is the way I do it. If you want red clam sauce, the key ingredient in red clam sauce is tomato paste. I like it with diced tomatoes as well, but tomato paste. So if you want to add like a tablespoon, I have a very heavy hand with tomato paste because I love it. It just gives such a great flavor. So if you want to add like a tablespoon of tomato paste and let that dissolve in there, maybe some diced tomatoes, that could make a nice, beautiful red sauce. So you can stop here at white, cook it up, maybe take half of it out so you have a container of white clam sauce, and then throw the tomato paste and a few diced tomatoes in there, and then you have a container of red sauce. They're both so good. Okay, so this is cooking up, and we're going to let that reduce a little bit. And I have pasta boiling here. I mean, pasta that I had made here. And at the end, I'm just gonna plate it for you, even though it's not done, but it's still delicious. I already know that this is so good. So we're gonna plate this up. Now I'm gonna take these, I have spaghetti. You know what I like to use sometimes? I like to use a combination of zucchini noodles or some type of vegetable noodle with spaghetti for this. And then it just kind of cuts back on the carbs. Look at this, oh my God. Hey Luke, can you come get the camera and maybe zoom in over here? Just take it off the pod, just so they can actually see in the pan. Would you mind just doing that?
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
All right.
My son's gonna help here. Just come over here with it, and then so they can see how beautiful this looks.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Oh, doesn't it? Look at the pan. Look in there.
Look at that.
And there's how it's plated right there.
Beautiful.
It is so good. And that's it. So if you have any questions, please comment. Follow me on social media, which you are already. And I'll see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.